Hi, I'm Ben McKenzie.
And I'm Miranda Baccarin. We hope you and your loved ones are doing well during these difficult times.
Texas is near and dear to my heart. I was born and raised in Austin, and my parents, Pete and Frances Shanken, still live there. After the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary in 2012, my mom helped start Texas Gun Sense. I spoke at their first fundraiser. And ever since then, in addition to creating these pretty nifty t-shirts that we're wearing, Texas Gun Sense has been at the forefront of the battle over reasonable gun safety legislation in the state.
As the only organization in Texas that works full-time on gun violence, Texas Gun Sense has become known as the go-to source for factual, evidence-based information. Reporters from NBC, CNN, the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, the Houston Chronicle, the Dallas Morning News, you name it, they call to find out what is happening at the legislature. Unfortunately, they also tend to call after horrific shootings, such as the one at the El Paso Walmart a year ago.
So why do we support Texas Gun Sense? Well, besides the fact that I love my mom and I'm proud of the work she's doing, Maria and I are parents. And every parent I know worries about their children and gun violence.
One of the policies that Texas Gun Sense supported at the Capitol is about to go into effect, a $1 million campaign to promote the safe storage of guns. The Austin City Council has put $200,000 in its budget for a similar effort.
There's a legislative session coming up in Texas next year. Texas Gun Sense will be working for passage of a comprehensive background check on gun buyers in the state.
This legislation comes at a crucial point in Texas history. Alarmingly, gun purchases have more than doubled in Texas over the same period last year.
We must do everything we can to make sure that only qualified buyers have a gun.
We are all becoming more aware of how gun violence affects communities of color. We must do everything we can to address that, not tomorrow, not down the road, now.
I imagine that some of you who are watching this were present at that first fundraiser for Texas Gun Sense some 7 years ago. It pains me that because of the pandemic, Miranda and I cannot be with you in person to express our gratitude for your continued support of Texas Gun Sense. For those of you who have joined the cause since then, or are considering joining now, thank you. I hope to see you when this pandemic is over, not virtually or on TV or at the movies, but in person, so that we can thank you for the good work you are doing in supporting this terrific organization.
I'm a Texas gun owner, and I support sensible gun laws.
As a native Texan, I support the work of Texas Gun Sense.
I believe in Texas Gun Sense.
I support Texas Gun Sense.
I believe in Texas Gun Sense.
I believe in Texas Gun Sense because I'm a former law enforcement officer.
I believe in Texas Gun Sense because they help us lock arms for life.
Because Texas Gun Sense brings common sense solutions that are evidence-based across Texas.
Because I want children safe from preventable injuries and deaths from gunfire with child access prevention laws.
Because they support every single person and cause who's working towards common sense gun solutions.
Texas Gun Sense is an excellent organization. They understand the Texas culture. They understand the importance of education. And I'm really honored to be part of them.
At Texas Gun Sense, we're all about data. We support policies that we know will help prevent gun violence because that's what the data shows.
I've been volunteering with Texas Gun Sense for the past year. The leadership team and my fellow volunteers are incredibly dedicated to the cause of preventing the horrible tragedies that our state has endured from ever happening again.
We need gun sense because, again, this spring at the Texas Capitol, there will be an effort to pass permitless carry. Some people call this constitutional carry. This means that there will be no permit required and no training to carry a gun in the state. Texas Gun Sense will forcefully oppose this.
I believe in Texas Gun Sense because we believe in the power of ordinary citizens in enacting widespread change.
This summer, I served as an intern for the Texas Gun Sense organization. I wrote briefs summarizing data on gun violence in Texas and proposing potential solutions for the Texas legislature to pass. Through this work, I learned about many of the ways in which Texans are endangered daily by the misuse of firearms.
They understand that the best way to accomplish our shared goal is to work together and listen to the voices of those who want to prevent the hundreds of thousands of lives being changed by irresponsible gun use.
Things like background checks and licensing are easy steps to make sure that guns are owned safely and responsibly, and they're in line with what I learned when I was a cop that goes along with the responsibility of carrying and owning a firearm.
I support Texas Gun Sense because I believe that common sense gun laws can help make our communities safer and better for those living there. It is our role to protect the future generations and ensure that the world they grow up in provides them a healthy environment to thrive in.
I also want our state to support universal background checks for all firearm purchases. And I want our state to encourage safe storage practices.
I own a gun for self-defense because as a gay woman, I'm more likely to become the victim of hate violence. I think Texas Gun Sense gets it right. We can have guns, but we need to be sure that those guns are in the hands of people who are qualified and responsible in their use and storage.
We look at all the bills related to guns that are filed at the legislature. Last session, more than 200. And then we testify with facts.
We also know that even in Texas, where we all prize our individual liberty, that we can take a balanced approach to gun laws that also supports public health. We can have those policies that make a difference, like universal background checks, extreme risk protection orders, mandatory reporting for lost and stolen guns, and still respect the rights we're all given by the Second Amendment.
But we are the only statewide organization in Texas behind this cause, and these efforts cost money. Whether it's helping our common sense policy efforts at the state capitol, which enjoys strong bipartisan support, or helping us buy and distribute gun locks to prevent teen suicides, your generous contribution can help eradicate gun violence in Texas.
Texas Gun Sense works for these common sense, evidence-based solutions. I thank you for your financial support of these efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.